Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. If something needs to happen as rallies or demonstrations, they need to happen in United States of America, Germany, France, Great Britain. But United States is the main country because that's where I think the decisions are being initiated. So in this case, we have good news, I would say. In America, United States of America, there are some plans for some peace rallies, and we had today in Munich, in Germany, some peace rallies, and both are reported by the enemies, which are the Russians. So if those rallies are in these states, in these countries, obviously they try to tell the guys in charge of us that they should do something to stop the war. And you might think there are two options: arming the other guys to destroy the Russians, or stopping arming Ukrainians to destroy the Russians. There's no other option. I mean, negotiation is without, providing any more weapons. Let's stop, negotiate. But let's start with a rally in Munich. That's the Munich Security Meeting Organization, whatever it's called, cooperation, tralala. And these guys are rallying against that, or at least to raise awareness that there are some people who disagree with their BS. Let's move and see what's going on here. This article, as I said, comes from Sputnik. It's from 14 hours ago. So it's from today, the 18th of February 2023. Mass peace rally takes place in Munich. And this comes as the 59th Munich Security Conference, the world's largest foreign policy and defense forum, held annually since 1963, has entered its second day. Now, here is going to be a little bit of a all right, I looked around to see if those trees have leaves and all that, so they don't fool us. So there's the rally, at least what they show here. So Sputnik brings you live broadcast from Munich, Germany, where a peace rally is taking place on Saturday, February 18th. The Munich Stands Up alliance is demanding that negotiations between Ukraine and Russia be promoted instead of Western weapons being handed over to Kiev. Recent public opinion polls show that almost half of all Germans, 45%, are against the supply of weapons to Ukraine. Well, public opinion. All right, so that's the first article, and the other one has to do with the United States of America. It is again from the enemies, and it's the 18th of February 2023. Antiwar rally announced in Washington. The protest will call for peace negotiations in Ukraine and the end of military aid. This is what Russia Today says. A large rally dubbed, and I'm quoting, "Rage Against the War Machine," end of quote, has been announced for Washington DC on Sunday, tomorrow, with thousands set to march to the White House to demand peace in Ukraine and an end to U.S. military funding for Kiev. The march, organized by the Libertarian and People's Parties, promises to be the largest U.S. anti-war rally since the protests against the Iraq war in 2003. And how did that work for you? In the democratic country and free country, you were doing these things, and they did what they did best. Didn't care, ignored you. That's how democracies work, I guess. The will of the people, right? Yes. It is set to feature speakers from across... Well, it's better than nothing, don't get me wrong. It is set to feature speakers from across the political spectrum, including former U.S. Senator Ron Paul, fantastic guy, I always like the guy, former President nominee Tulsi Gabbard, I like her, even she was a Democrat, I don't know if she's still there. She's logical, she is intelligent, she's courageous. And comedian and political commentator Jimmy Dore, I like him too. another delusioned, how do you call it, Democrat, and one that has a left wing guy, and he got delusioned. I think that's how it's called. Like he doesn't like those guys. He said, "What the hell? This is a game here." On their website, organizers have laid out the demands they intend to deliver to, and I'm quoting, warmonger-in-chief Joe Biden. No, he's not. He doesn't know what day of the week is. The points include, and I'm quoting, no one more penny for war in Ukraine, end quote. The disbandment of NATO, slashing the Pentagon budget, abolishing the CIA, and freeing Julian Assange. Are you crazy? I mean, these things, all right, or let's say, starting from here, this is the structure. I mean, this is the structure, plus the FBI as well here. This is exactly the structure. What are you talking about? These are the guys. Anyway, that's good. It's good at least that they identified, minus Julian Assange, obviously. My bad. I should stop right here. These are the guys. Speaking to Fox News host Tucker Carlson, another good one, Tara Ready, one of the speakers due to appear at the rally, argued that Americans are fed up with seeing their government spend almost $100 billion in aid to Ukraine while problems at home are being ignored. And I'm quoting, our infrastructure is falling apart. America is becoming a failed state, end quote, she explained. Reedy, I don't know, also insisted that the US and NATO were responsible for the conflict between Russia and Ukraine, which he said started back in 2014 during the Western-sponsored Maidan coup. And I'm quoting, the speakers are all gathering to ask to abolish NATO because it's not a peacekeeping force. It's an aggressive force that's being pushing up against the borders of Russia, and now we're getting closer to the brink of World War III, end quote. She added, well, they are the military arm of the big interest. It's like their private police, like the Wagner group. If you don't do what we want, we're going to send the boys over there. And we're going to have some poor countries fight it for us, and we're just going to be involved in this. If you look at it, if you look at NATO, NATO is a very coward organization if you look at it. They do not and avoid to confront someone strong. Look who NATO attacked. They didn't attack Russia. Ukraine is the one that fights Russia. And the NATO, they don't fight. They just push money over there. Money, weapons, political sanctions and all that. This is NATO. NATO did not go and fight. I tell you who NATO fought. NATO fought Yugoslavia, which was formed of Montenegro and Serbia, like this small, okay, and they bombarded it. They didn't even go in. They just shoot from afar. This is what they did with airplanes and rockets and whatever. They did it to what? To Saddam Hussein, a country of 20 million people, a desert country with a shitty economy just based on oil. Then they did with Afghanistan, Bedouin and Mujahideens, right? Okay, good, yeah. And then you come back with your tail between your leg because you had to after you reconstructed Afghanistan, right? Then what? In Syria to fight ISIS, which actually someone else fought it for you. You just stopped over there, took over the richest parts with oil of Syrian people, and now you extract oil and send it to Iraq, and from Iraq who knows where. And then you attacked, what's that, or at least helped a little bit in Libya, 4 million people. So what are you talking about? NATO did not engage in a fight with a strong country. They just picked as how do you call these guys, coyotes or hyenas, but hyena is strong even by itself. I mean, if you ever seen a hyena in real life, I mean, no, hyena is strong. Talking about coyotes, you can play football with them, you kick them around if you want. That's coyote, and the other ones are jackals. They're like jackals. That's what they are. In packs, they pretend to be strong if the big guy, the lion, is right there. Remember, I make the analogy with that cartoon, whatever movie you want to call it for kids, the Simba. Remember Simba with the Lion King? And you have Scar, the bad lion that I liked, with the hyenas, and you have Simba, the good guy over there. Well, NATO is like that organization with one which is SCAR, United States, and everybody else is hyenas. When SCAR goes to take a piss, the hyenas are scattered around. Why? Because they don't dare to fight anybody else. They will not dare to fight. They will probably fight Albania or Romania or like that. But they will not engage in fight with a real country. Right now, they're not fighting Russia. Why? Because they're afraid. Why, do you want me to get bruised or something? Oh, it hurts. Where's my Coca-Cola and my TV? It starts in about 5 minutes, man, my program. That's how NATO is. I'm just generalizing just to make it for a movie or for the video, but anyway. And for a movie too in the future, yes. According to Rage Against War website, the rally is set to start at the Lincoln Memorial at 12:30 p.m. on Sunday, marking almost 1 year since the start of hostilities between Russia and Ukraine, as well as President's Day weekend. Yay! So, at least, and that's a good thing. I totally support it. Good for these guys that they organize such a thing. Otherwise, you would have the weasels, the idiots, thinking that nothing happens, that they're all in agreement. Because this is the way you do it. You isolate, or you try to keep the voices of others quiet, and you scream loudly. And you're 5 people who scream, and everybody else doesn't scream, and you say, hey, look, that's the direction. What, just because you silence the other ones. That's why. The same thing with the policies of diversity, inclusion, and equity, and all this BS. The same thing. Oh, it must be, everybody supports it. No. Why don't you make a little referendum? Organize a little referendum of that bullshit, and then you're going to see it. Why do you think the government doesn't organize referenda? Huh? Because they're afraid. Why? Because you're going to be totally against whatever they are pushing left and right. Just organize a few of them, like the border control in the south. I don't know what you, I know how that border thing could be solved, and I don't build a little thing. I don't build anything. The border control in the south with Mexico could be solved. I would solve it in a few hours. In a few hours, and I guarantee you that in 24 hours, it's going to drop from 100% to 0 point some percent. Only crazies or people who did not hear the news, or the multiple news that will come up with after I impose my policy. Yeah, I'll be probably after a while I'll be removed from the post because it works. But nevertheless, I guarantee you in 3 hours everything will be clean and nobody will be crossing, unless people who are in the process and didn't hear what happened over there, what policies were implemented by the crazy. That could be done. Just organize a referendum. Organize a referendum on also on the elections campaigns and election contribution. That's another one. And inflation and the Federal Reserve Bank, a federal private bank. Anyway, and there's many other issues that are at hand over there. And yeah, they don't want to do it. So, and if you look at the TV, you see 10 or 7 or 15 stations, mainstream media, and all of they all say the same thing. Say, well, by the standards of democracy, the truth is based on the majority. So if 11 out of 12 say one thing, that must be true. Well, that's not really, because all those are, we already know these things, some of us. But it's good that these guys are getting engaged in letting this guy know, hey, we're a bunch of people who really are not your weasels or your lemmings, to just march the way you showed us, or you just channel us. We go this way, now you go this way, and you go this way. But it's good. It's good. We'll see how many people infiltrate those mass demonstrations. Like always, crowd control must be instituted. Like everywhere else. The communists did it. Anyone does it. That's how it is in a free world. You're free. Yeah. All right. You're free to do this, but within, our accepted and... Yeah, good. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.